Crick Buzz Centerstage, Adam Collins, Simon Doull, Harsha, Bhogle. A sodden day in Nottingham, another rained out game. Dooley, 3 in a week. There was only 2 games washed out in their entirety in all of the World Cups until last Friday. We've got a bit of a problem here, don't we?
Yeah, a little bit of a problem, but I mean, it's just one of those things that can happen. I mean, the last 2 summers in England have been outstanding. We were here for the Champions Trophy in 17. We had a magnificent summer. Last summer was also really hot. It's just one of those weeks. Let's hope it goes away and we get back into games, getting full games, and we get this tournament underway.
Harsha, a lot of criticism about scheduling, about the lack of reserve days. Where do you sit on that?
To put things in perspective about the weather, as I finished packing in Mumbai and leaving, purely on a hunch, I packed a couple of thermals in. That's how hot I thought it would be here. And that's why I'm slurring over my words, because I'm cold. I'm also delighted because I'm looking down at Simon for the first time. But it's easy to say after you know something has happened, that something should have happened. And I read some stats to say that, and I'm not trying to hold a brief for the ICC, that it rains more in July and August than it does in June in England. So it's one of those things that happens. When you say you need to have a reserve day, I think you need to sit and look at all the logistics involved in having a reserve day for every single day. I know they had it in 99 and India won because of the reserve day. India beat England in Birmingham. So it's easy to say, but I think it was a logistical nightmare. But more than anything else, I don't think anybody expected it would be as bad as this.
It's the knock-on effect, isn't it? Because if India had to play tomorrow, then they get 1 day to travel, and then they play Pakistan the next day. So, I just think the knock-on effect of having reserve days is not required. I'd rather see it like this. If we get a week of bad weather, that's just part and parcel of it.
When the points are split in any game of sport, usually there's a winner and a loser still. Who is the winner today? Does New Zealand walk away from this thinking they've actually gained a point rather than risking playing the might of India?
Oh, India got away with it today. They were going to lose. they were going to lose. It was 2 points New Zealand, nil to India. No, look, I think when it come the end of the tournament, I think New Zealand will be very thankful for that 1 point. I think now they look at these last 5 games that they've got, 2 wins will give them 11 points, and I think 11 points could sneak in to that 4th place, maybe 3rd place. So I think they'll be very thankful for that 1 point.
For India's part, they've only actually played 2 games of cricket, Harsha. They've been here a long time for 2 games.
I know, but I'm just thinking of Simon. I'm saying, right, they only need to win 2 games. Who have they played so far? Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, Bangladesh. I think New Zealand are very well placed now. I think deep down, once it became apparent it was going to be a smaller game, India wouldn't mind the 1 point, because the last thing India wanted was to play a 21-over game and Colin Munro decides today's the day I go off and you lose points. So I think once it was clear it was going to be a small game, India wouldn't mind the 1 point. Isn't that what Virat said to you as well?
Yeah, he did. He was pretty happy with the 1 point. He said there was no way they wanted to risk any injuries. They've already had one, obviously, to Shikhar Dhawan, so there was no way they wanted to risk anything and go out there and play in conditions that were all there. It was substandard, so the game couldn't have happened.
Harsha, we go up the motorway, we go to Manchester for the biggest game there is in cricket. India versus Pakistan in the group game of a World Cup, a fixture that India have never lost.
Well, I could play to the gallery and say it hasn't been a big game for 6 World Cups so far, but it is. I think Virat said to Simon in the interview as well that if you haven't played one of those games before, then sometimes it can get to you. But there really haven't been too many close encounters in recent times, but that game is as much about ability as about forgetting the headlines the next day if you're the hero. If you start thinking, I'm the hero, I'm in the headlines next day, I'm going to be remembered for the next 20 years, then you're in trouble. So can you be aware that it's a big game and yet pretend it isn't? That's what the big players do. So that'll be it. But I still think India start favourites, in that game.
That's next. Crick Buzz Centerstage will be all over the country the next couple of days. Let's hope the rain stays away. Adam Collins, Simon Doull, Harsha, Bhogle standing on the steps.
Can we just finish? We're just going to...
Yeah, go on. Give it your best shot.
We've got an audience. That's what Crick Buzz does.